Okay, so we're now 100 and something thousand miles on the Civic. Dropped the oil yesterday, so I've changed to mobile 030, 040. And I'm going to run that for the next 10,000, see if it makes any difference to the fuel consumption. Okay, so this Honda Civic has now crossed 100,000 miles, so we are going to change the oils. Okay, so the process is pretty much the same as previously. We've got a Bosch filter. That is that number. There's a short code. Filter tool. This isn't ideal, but you can make it work. Ideally, you want the little tool that slips over the end of this. And I do have a few of them, but none of them fit. But you can make that work, but it's not ideal. And then you want a big oil catch pan, and you want a 17mm socket to get the something that off. 17mm spanner for me, but a 17mm socket will also do it. You just want to loosen it and then take the rest off by hand. And I have decided to go with Mobile One. It's about twice the price, but I'm just intrigued as to how these people are getting 80 miles to the gallon out of these things. Okay, fair enough. I drive my car pretty sort of flat out, but not exactly flat out. I'm not mad. I mean, I'm on the motorway doing 80ish. So I'm going to do a Mobile One stint, 10,000, and use some diesel system to charge it and see if that makes any difference over 10,000 miles. We are here in Lincolnshire on a little job, and the car is filthy, obviously, because the car has been very, very busy. So 10,000 miles, I can't remember when it was that I did the 90,000 service, but so we're on 100,000. Everything's fine, nothing really to report. Been all over the place. In the last few months, up and down to Cumbria, up and down to the south coast. And everything has been fine. Coming through Leeds at 0807. This is the time when you really wish they'd made an automatic Civic diesel Tourer. They didn't make that car, and they won't be making it ever. So the traffic, I mean, this is not bad. The traffic up to here, oh, it's a bloody pain in the arse. And that's partly because of this. I'm sure if I'd had Google Maps on through here, it would not have brought me through the middle of town. Anyway, there you go. So that crash was about 2 miles ago. Look at this. Imagine sitting in this. Look at it. Oh my god. Okay, so I am on the M6. I am going to Cumbria. It's a round trip of about 500 miles. I am 3/4 of a tank, 76 miles an hour, which is just over 2,000 rev, 6 gear. So my fuel economy on the Honda computer says 62.8, and it's rising. So obviously at the minute I'm doing more than 62.8 mpg. Okay, so I am now in the Lake District, and I have just filled up. So I've got 24 liters, 33.91. Honda was saying 62.3. Current drive history of trip A. So 62.6, but actually it works out to 50, 56, 57. So we're about, whatever that is, 10% optimistic. And that's driving at, like, you know, fuel crisis, fuel savings, but admittedly doing pretty much 75 miles an hour on the motorway most of the way. So yeah, there you go. It's now November, so winter tires or all season tires start to come into their own. But anyway, I suppose I still haven't done these front brakes. They still feel fine. So many of my miles are motorway miles, so obviously the brakes are hanging on fine. One thing that happened over the last 10,000 miles, I lost this. It pinged off. I don't know if I can find it separately somewhere. Yeah, that's basically it. Nothing else to report. So at some stage we'll change these brakes. The car needs some wiper blades. The dog is enjoying this running around. And yeah, all still good with the Honda Civic. So it started snowing today, first snow of this winter. And I am down in Renning looking at some classic cars for evaluation. So it's a narrow little lane that joins. This is a narrow little lane that joins the bottom of the A34 and crosses you over the M4. So it just means I don't have to drive down the motorway. It's quite a good shortcut. So if I was down here in anything bigger than a Civic, and I'm driving down here with the mirrors folded in, if I was down here in anything bigger than a Civic, it would be a different experience, right? And I spend a lot of time on roads like this, so yeah, so there is something to be said for having a slightly smaller car on a road like this, on a job like this, doing these jobs. I was thinking this morning, I've never struggled for power. I've never felt that I was down on power, and obviously doing average of 57, 58 mpg is not to be sniffed at with the £30 tax and the cheap insurance, even with 20,000 miles business use. So yeah, so the jury is still out on this idea of whether I would change for like a bigger car that would cost more and it wouldn't be as reliable. Of course, the best thing about Hondas and my previous Subarus is that they have proved incredibly reliable. And you know, when you're working for yourself, the most important thing is that you can get to all the jobs and then get back home again. Because if you can't get to the jobs and get back home again, you've got the wrong car. Anyway, it's Saturday morning, and that's pretty much, I think, the last inspection I've got booked to do this year. 2 weeks time I'm off to Spain for a week or two, and we'll leave all this weather behind, but in the meantime we have to put up with it. See that? That's quite a wide thing and going pretty quickly, so 2 wide things on a road like this is a sure recipe for disaster. sort of having my first chance to try out these Goodyear Vector 4 Seasons. They're supposed to be the old season tyre. Yeah, quite good on this. I mean, it's quite crunchy snow, but quite good on this. I've given those a couple of taps off curbs and things, and they've been quite resilient. They've proved pretty good, so no complaints about the Goodyears. Okay, so to wrap up on my latest video, I've now done about 1,000 miles since I changed oils, and it's been about a week. Obviously it's a bit early to say. I think on the first tank of fuel I probably did. It definitely felt different. Obviously when you service a car it feels different, but it probably did feel different to start with, but then second tank of fuel sank back down again, so too early to say. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference. I mean, I'm running at excellent MPG at the minute, 60, 65, 66 from today's run, but I don't know. The jury is out. I don't think so. I get the feeling that it won't make any difference, but we'll see. I'm probably going to hit another 1,000 miles this week, and yeah, I mean, today is quite nice, but the weather lately has just been terrible, so no point washing the car because we're out pretty much every day. Anyway, we'll see. But the only other thing that has happened in the last 10,000 miles, and it was a bit weird, was driving along one day and there's a massive pop through the speakers and this thing cut out. It forgot everything and it just deleted everything it had in its memory. So I don't know what that was about, but yeah, so we will see. It was random. I couldn't see any explanation for it. It hasn't done it since. So yeah, we'll see. It is frustrating at times anyway, so if it does die, then that's fine. I'll just use it as an excuse to change for something else. Cut out there. I did book the car in to have the gearbox oil, brake fluid and fuel filter changed at Honda. That was going to cost about 300 and something, 310 or something. And also to have the sat-nav updated, but I had to cancel that because we just got too busy. So I'm probably going to do it next month. So that'll be December. I'm away for a few weeks, so I might just get it booked in for that. But so far we are on 101,153, and yeah, it continues to be super reliable apart from this thing, but nothing else. You could just see how you could end up doing, I don't know, 200,000 miles in this thing. It's just so comfortable, although occasionally you do wish it was an automatic, but that's that. Anyway, looking forward to the next 10,000.